Hey everybody, welcome to the Pre-Snap Podcast presented by LineStar. We are taking a look at the AFC East today, continuing on with our NFL division previews. Remember, first things first before we get into the teams, including the favorite to win the Super Bowl, like, subscribe, comment below to keep up with all our content.
And that's not the Jets, right?
Maybe we have to make a video just about the Jets because you said that. Also, make sure to sign up for LineStar to get all of your information and all your draft ready before. I know fantasy football season is right around the corner, so you want to lock in that price too. It's $19.99 right now. It'll get you all squared away your whole season long. You don't want to lose at fantasy football this season, and LineStar is here to help you out so that you won't. So make sure to lock in that price at $19.99 before the season starts, and that goes up. So check that out, linestarapp.com, and we will also put the link below so you can just click there as well. Now it is time to talk about my favorite division, the AFC East. It is my division. I claim proprietary right over it because my Jets are in it. It's been a rough go of it.
It's interesting that you own the division being a Jets fan.
I do not.
That's very interesting.
Yes.
That's
quite
news.
The juxtaposition there.
That is breaking
However,
news.
First we'll take a look at all of the teams and their futures market. We'll talk about some of the stats and some of the fantasy football value all over the map here. So we're going to start with worst to first in terms of the standings last year. And I'm sorry to say my Jets were bottom of the barrel last year, 4-13. And the longest postseason drought, and offense ranked 28th in points, 26th in yards. These are painful for me to say as a Jets fan. Defense dead last in yards allowed and points allowed. Needless to say, they did get a lot of talent. They got a lot of young talent. They stocked up. Zach Wilson, year 2. Zach Wilson.
Yes.
The expectations are there. This is kind of a make it or break it year for him. Last year was not good.
You know
in
what's
terms of
really
any of the
funny
metrics.
too is there was so much hype behind him in preseason. Like people were saying he looked like Patrick Mahomes, and then the real season
came along. However, I feel like he didn't have too much help in terms of the offensive line, and credit to the Jets this offseason. They took care of a lot of issues for him. Secured up that offensive line a bit for him. Got some nice receivers. And so I think they basically stacked everything in his favor to have a good season.
Yes.
We did see glimpses of a good Zach Wilson after he had the injury and later in the season. However, it was a little rough going in the first few weeks. 65% pass play rate in non-garbage time, though, is fifth most, which I think bodes well for fantasy purposes. Maybe not a Zach Wilson on your team, but other players
there
as
is
well.
some upside here, too.
Okay.
Moore's a nice little young talent. We got Garrett Wilson.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
No idea what to do with this running back room. I know you love Breece Hall.
Yeah, I love Breece Hall. He projects as the lead back among the rookie class. And I think the thing that I like about Breece Hall, I think the opportunity is there for him to just go and take it if he is, in fact, what the scouts describe. He's pretty much a beast. So I don't mind taking a chance on him. I think from everything that I've read, he's projected to be the top running back among this rookie class coming in. So I like him. Although Michael Carter might have some issues with that.
Yeah, I think it'll probably end up being a little bit of a committee. Breece Hall could have the larger majority of that committee, but I don't see him playing like a featured role.
Well, again, I think this is going to be a lot of passing in this offense. Let's see. I think a lot of it hinges on Zach Wilson, obviously. Last year, passing grade ranked 38th among 44 qualified quarterbacks, so not great there. And his quarterback rating at 69.7 was 42. So he's going to have to show much improvement. Word out of camp, though, is that he's been doing well. He put on a little weight. He's been hitting the weight room.
Preseason Patrick Mahomes. He's back.
He burned Sauce Gardner at practice, which was pretty impressive. Excited about his addition to the team as well, although we're kind of focusing in on the fantasy guys. However,
I just want to say Sauce Gardner.
Yeah. Gotta love the
Good
sauce.
name. It's a good name.
Great name. Let's talk about the tight ends for a second, because this was a big pickup for the Jets with C.J. Uzomah coming over from the Bengals, and he was a favorite target of Joe Burrow. He did well there. Although this was an offense that fed tight ends in just 75 total yards last season, so I don't see him having the success that he had over with the Bengals. What do you think?
I mean, he has a big downgrade in quarterback, as much as you wouldn't like to believe that. So that's one thing to definitely take into account. But I have to agree with you. Especially with having Tyler Conklin there as well.
Exactly.
Conklin's likely going to steal a little bit. He's not a prolific pass catcher, but he's going to be on the field. He can block well. So,
all right, let's take a look at the futures odds for the Jets. Okay, third longest odds to win the Super Bowl. They're saying there's a chance.
Yep, your AFC.
To win the conference at 8,500. To win the division, 2,000. Win total, this was kind of a popular one that people were taking in Vegas. The over-under on 5.5 wins. Curious to see your thoughts on the win total here.
At minus 160, there's no way I can hit over.
Yeah.
The value here is going under at plus 135.
Interesting you say that, because as I was looking over the Jets' schedule, it was actually a little hard. I counted 5 winnable games that I could, and I even was a little favorable. I got to be real. I'm a Jets fan, but I am realistic.
Yes.
And trying to be objective for our viewers, so you guys aren't putting money down on something just because I'm a homer. So I do like the under in this situation, and they have a really tough schedule to start out the season. Listen to this. They start out, they host the Ravens, they're at the Browns, going up against the Bengals, and then they're at Pittsburgh. They could easily be 0-4 to start the season, and that's a tough hole to climb out of.
There are some big question marks quarterback-wise, though, for a couple of those teams.
Yes.
Browns, we don't know what Deshaun Watson's going to be. He's likely not going to be in that game. And the Steelers, I mean, they just drafted a guy. They got Rudolph.
So it might not be as tough
Trubisky.
as maybe it would have been 2021. Good point there, Tyler.
But it is Big Ben was 2021, which he wasn't very good either. So.
All right. So their overall strength of schedule, though, is 17th, which is not too bad.
Middle of the road.
But I still think it'll be hard to get 6 wins for this team.
Now, that strength of schedule, though, is based on last season, whereas the Dolphins are going to be much improved. Right. The Patriots are going to be a little bit better.
Right. So the AFC East in general has gotten a little bit tougher. Speaking of a team that's gotten tougher, Miami Dolphins. Last season, 9-8. But now they got a new head coach, Mike McDaniel, coming over from the Kyle Shanahan School of Coaching. And you've got Tua with a much improved cast.
Talk about a make it or break it year.
Yes, this is the ultimate make it or break it year. I know that a lot of people have been high on Tua for quite a while. His quarterback rating ranked 27th last year. And I got some stats because I thought this was really interesting, just to put it into perspective for you. I mean, I know he will have some added weapons, but Tua ranks 31st among all quarterbacks in fantasy points per game over the past 2 seasons. He was also the league's 6th most turnover-prone quarterback when throwing deep. And I mentioned that stat because Tyreek Hill's here now. Yeah. So I think that's an important thing to note. The problem, not necessarily Tua's ability to throw an accurate deep ball. This is an interesting one, too, about the deep ball. Rather than his willingness to do so. Last season, 7.4 yard average target depth. That ranked 39th among 44 qualified quarterbacks. And it only edged out Daniel Jones, Ben Roethlisberger, Jared Goff, Mike White, and Colt McCoy. So those are not favorable stats, but I wanted to bring them up because I think it's important when you've got a guy like Tyreek Hill, who's one of the biggest deep threats in the league coming over, and it'll be interesting to see if they can maximize his potential. Yeah,
and I do think some of that was just coaching not letting him throw the ball deep.
Okay.
I think there was definitely part of that, that they didn't want to. And if you looked at their kind of receiving option, it makes sense also. Like rookie Waddle. Parker, they had the tight end out wide all the time. So, they didn't have a ton of real good deep threats.
Yeah. So. Well, now you're talking about McDaniel, who's coming from a team that was very run heavy. Yes. And so that'll be interesting to see how he incorporates the running backs. And you've got a new one on the team. Chase Edmonds coming over from the Cardinals. Also, Raheem Mostert from San Francisco. The Mosterati is there, along with Sony Michel from the Rams. You got Myles Gaskin still there as well. And Salvon Ahmed.
NFC West
running
pretty
backs
much. Just came over to the Dolphins.
Now, everything I've read says maybe Edmonds will be the lead back here. He's also a big receiving threat as well, so could bode well for fantasy owners in that respect.
Yeah, I seem to think that Raheem Mostert probably will get the majority, but this 100% is going to be a committee.
Yes, that's a great point because,
I would not be surprised if they're using 3 backs regularly.
Yeah.
And, the Patriots used to always do that.
Yeah.
So,
and they also got fullbacks Alex Ingold signed to a 2-year, $6.5 million contract. And the question I wrote down in the notes was, does this kind of indicate a lack of the 3 wide receiver usage? And when we talk about the wide receivers, you got a lot of good receivers there. So I'm kind of just curious to see how this offense comes together in general. There's a lot of question marks.
I would imagine they're probably going to move people around a lot, give defenses a lot of different looks.
Yeah.
Kind of make it hard for the defense and a little easier on Tua would be my kind of expectation here.
Got to make it easy for Tua, right?
Yeah, and their Gesicki, their tight end, he's one that can kind of move all over the place too. So
right, he's a tight end, but he's kind of a wide receiver.
He played out wide a lot last season.
Yeah,
so.
A good option there. So let's talk about the wide receivers. Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, and Cedric Wilson, who might be going overlooked a little bit in this offense, coming over from the Cowboys. Now, Hill's just been incredible. Just to put it into perspective for you, here's some top 10 numbers. His receiving grade ranked 6th. Yards per route run, 9th. Quarterback rating when targeted, 9th. That bodes well for Tua. And among 175 wide receivers with at least 100 targets since 2016, only, listen to this company, Antonio Brown, Devontae Adams, Michael Thomas, Justin Jefferson, and Jamar Chase have averaged more PPR points per game during that span. He's been incredible. Granted, he's had Mahomes, but he also had a good season with Alex Smith as well.
Hill's incredible. Yeah. The speed and separation he has and he gets is one of a kind.
Do you see his value up or down?
Versus last season with Tua, there's no way it's higher.
Yeah.
Especially having Waddle. So, as in Kansas City, he never had like a true wide receiver 2. Like that was Travis Kelce, who, he's a tight end. He's not going to run the same type of routes to take away.
Yeah.
Whereas like now he has Waddle. Waddle is a legit, very good receiver.
Yeah, he saw the end zone a lot too. He started this dance.
Yeah, good
whole. Want to do it?
The penguin gritty. It's kind of like what it is.
Kind of, I guess. So speaking of Waddle, he had the 10th most targets of any wide receiver last season. It's something that's not happening again now that Cheetah is in the building. Yes. So,
but he'll get more one-on-one.
Okay. Good point. Good point. All right. Some other notes here. Strength of schedule, 21st. That's pretty good. They do have a tough start as well. Patriots, Ravens, Bills, Bengals. That's not not easy.
Real tough start.
That's pretty tough.
At least Patriots at home.
Yes. So they open up.
That's a tough one.
It's a tough one. Let's take a look at the NFL futures odds here. Plus 4,000 for a Super Bowl. Hey, just in case you're willing to go a long shot.
There could be some real interesting bets after these 4 games.
Oh, totally.
They could totally be 1-3. And then you can probably kind of try and smash the win division or.
Oh, yeah. That's a good point.
Yeah.
Because 8.5, what are you thinking there?
I'm going to say over.
It's doable.
And I think minus 130 isn't too bad. But, they won 9 last season. They have a good defense. the offense should be taking another step forward.
Right.
So,
and I think Mike McDaniel is a good coach, and he will put them in the best position to succeed.
Yes.
8.5. Yeah, I think they can do it, especially I don't think the Patriots are as good. I don't think
as Miami.
Debatable. I don't know.
It's Belichick.
You like Belichick?
It's
yeah.
Belichick.
I don't know.
And Jones is going to take another
I'm not sold on Mac Jones. We'll get to it.
We will.
So, let's move on then.
Yeah.
Perfect segue into the New England Patriots, who last season finished 10-7. Bill Belichick in his 23rd season. But we did have some changes on the offensive coordinator role. Josh McDaniels now at Las Vegas, so Belichick is expected to run the offense. Not sure how that will impact things, but you've also got Joe Judge and Matt Patricia in the mix there as well. And Mac Jones, does he take a leap in his second year? We saw a little good, a little bad. The Patriots went on a really good stretch. I remember that game when they were going up against the Cowboys at the end, and he was taking it to him. He took it to Tom Brady in that game when the big homecoming for Tom Brady. So he's shown glimpses of that, and reports are that he's been working really hard this offseason, kind of taking a page from Tom Brady, working on his health and his fitness, his overall wellness. So what do you see from him year 2?
I like him. I don't know if you're going to see a huge stats increase.
Yeah.
But I think that with Belichick, he is really learning how to win. And he's going to keep doing that. He's going to keep the team from losing. He's not going to lose the game for them.
Well, to your point, Jones did peel off 4 top 10 fantasy finishes during his final 8 games. Although overall, Jones joins Trevor Lawrence, Big Ben, Matt Ryan as the only quarterbacks with double-digit fantasy finishes as the QB 20 or worse. So maybe not super consistency for fantasy purposes.
Yeah, there are some comparisons, though, with Mac Jones, the season he had with some of the greats that we have seen. You know, his season between Peyton Manning's rookie year isn't a giant difference.
Interesting. All right. Well, let's take a look at his weapons. Jacoby Meyer, Devontae Parker is in the mix. Kendrick Bourne, Nelson Aguilar, Tyquan Thornton, N'Keal Harry. This is an offense that does spread the ball around. I mean, it's not like Edelman and Gronk are there anymore to just carry the load there with the offensive side of, I guess, some of the passing attempts there.
Yeah, I do really like the addition of Devontae Parker here.
Okay.
So I think that's going to help Mac Jones quite a bit.
Yeah.
And I think he kind of becomes the de facto number 1, even though Myers has been very good. He is allergic to the end zone.
Yes, totally. In fact, one of just 11 wide receivers in NFL history with 1,500 plus receiving yards, yet 5 or fewer touchdowns in the first 3 seasons of their career. Yes, like you're saying. The Patriots are the 5th most run-heavy offense, though, so I feel like a lot of times they're at the goal line. Just punch it in there. Running backs, speaking of which, Damian Harris, Ramondre Stevenson, Pierre Strong Jr., James White. Bit of a crowded running back situation here. Who do you see taking the big bulk of the carries here?
I think Stevenson should take the big bulk of the carries, but Damian Harris is good. I don't think that they can really just take those carries from him. It's not like he's done poorly.
Right.
But I think Stevenson is the most explosive and complete back that they have.
Yeah. Although, from a fantasy perspective, are you sold on, given the fact that they do kind of use a lot of different guys, are you sold on the Patriots running back for fantasy value?
A season-long home friends league, no. I'm not really sold on any of them. For an underdog best ball draft, which you can hit the link below and join Underdog, free LineStar for 3 months. I do kind of maybe taking some shots at Stevenson.
Okay.
Just because it's not like he's being drafted early. If Harris gets hurt, Stevenson could step in with a much bigger role. He is a solid back. He can catch passes. He can make people miss. I do like his upside.
Some fantasy upside there.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the tight end situation. Hunter Henry was really good last season. He caught 50 passes for 603 yards, 9 touchdowns in 2021. However, in terms of replicating that, not looking too likely. 10 of 12 tight ends that scored 8+ touchdowns on fewer than 80 targets went on to work as tight end 14 or worse the following season. Exception was Gronk. So, is Hunter Henry Gronk?
Gronk's always the exception.
Yeah, Gronk. Any exception to the rule, it's Gronk.
Hunter Henry, I do like him. Is he Gronk? No.
No. Okay.
But the Patriots do use their tight ends well. The one thing I kind of wonder is if Jonnu Smith is involved a little more.
Sure.
It kind of surprised me that he wasn't involved more last season. They used him. He played it okay amount, but he definitely took a back seat to Henry. But Smith is the more athletic one out of the two.
Okay. So something to look for there. If you're looking at it from a fantasy perspective, just we don't expect Hunter Henry to have the repeat performance that he did, and he could split with Smith now.
It's really hard to predict touchdowns, and his season was based on touchdowns.
Right.
So,
all right. Well, let's take a look at the Patriots' futures odds here. To win the Super Bowl, 4,000. To win the conference, 2,200. And to win the division, 400. Win total, 8.5. Anything you like here?
No.
No.
Definitely not Super Bowl or conference or division.
All right. Win total 8.5. Are you going over?
I'm going to go over there. I can't go against Belichick with that with a second-year quarterback.
You're loving Bill Belichick. You like the hoodie, huh?
He's a goat.
Yep. Although, does he still have it without Tom Brady?
I mean, they did really good last year with a rookie quarterback.
Fair enough.
They almost
we'll see,
were able to
year
take the
2.
division. Almost took the division.
Strength of schedule, 16th.
Yes.
They do have a tough December, so I think that will be their toughest. Just kind of looking at that. Bills, that's a home game, though. At Cardinals, then at Raiders, then Bengals. I think that's probably their toughest stretch. That's not
I feel like Belichick's Decembers are usually really good, too. I don't remember the exact stats on that, and I wish I kind of checked that. But
it's okay.
But Belichick towards the end of the year is usually kind of really putting things together. So
yeah, I think that's also when cold weather comes into play, and that
True.
always seems to work in Bill Belichick's favor there.
Yeah, it's weird how things just work for
Work in his favor, huh? What kind of voodoo is he doing over there in New England? I want to know.
But things always follow in his way, so.
All right, let's take a look at the Buffalo Bills. Will things fall their way this season? Well, a lot of people think it will. In fact, they are the favorites to win the Super Bowl this year. Last year, they were 11-6 and basically lost to the Chiefs. It was like a coin flip that decided their future in what was one of the craziest games.
That game was great.
Playoff games. They are, like I said, the favorites. Josh Allen's an MVP favorite as well. Sean McDermott back for his 6th season. And the only big coaching piece they're going to be missing is the offensive coordinator, Brian Dable, who left to coach the Giants. Now, looking at this offense, this is a team that chucks the ball everywhere. And Josh Allen, will he capture his 3rd straight season as QB1? That's the big, question mark here. And Josh Allen's just been incredible. I got a great stat for you. Are you ready?
I want to hear this.
Another season atop the leaderboard would land Allen in an exclusive club alongside Steve Young and Brett Favre as the only signal callers to post overall QB1 fantasy production in 3 consecutive seasons over the past 50 years.
It's
a long time ago.
And that is some
I don't even
nice
think they had,
names to be
They
with.
didn't even have nice internet scoring for you back then.
No, you had to go to the newspaper and do it yourself.
Like write it in with pen and pencil. So obviously he would join some elite company. He's one of just 10 players with 30-plus rushing touchdowns since 2018, which is incredible when you think about that. And he has a chance to pass Michael Vick by the end of 2022, which is just crazy. He's just awesome. How do you see his progression this season?
I mean, I got to expect he's going to keep kind of progressing. As we see with quarterbacks, as they get older, they generally start to run a little bit less. So maybe a little less running, more passing, which they always already pass a ton. So,
well, taking a look at that wide receivers room here, Stephon Diggs back at it again. He was absolutely unstoppable in 2020 and 2021. Not as dominant. Hey, but his not dominant is like still a top 10 fantasy finish. Just absolutely crazy. He's wide receiver 4 in PPR points per game since joining the Bills in 2020. Then you got Gabriel Davis. Now Jamison Crowder is in there as well. Isaiah McKenzie and Khalil Shakir as well. And when you look at Stephon Diggs, he's awesome, man.
Absolutely.
Probably definitely one of the best, obviously. Just went through all those stats. He's got the volume, the talent, and the quarterback. That'll give him some good points. When you look at the wide receivers, though, what do you like about, I guess, where things shake out for fantasy people?
I really want to see what Gabriel Davis is doing.
Yeah.
He is the biggest kind of question mark. He has been fantastic when on the field. Last season, they started with Emmanuel Sanders, and Sanders really started out hot. And then he started falling off a little bit. Davis got a little bit more play. And Davis was tremendous. I mean, he did have that huge game towards the end of the season where he had, 4 touchdowns?
Crazy, yeah.
Yeah.
So how does Crowder fit into things here?
Takes that Cole Beasley
There
role.
you go. Yeah.
He's got a case of the Beasles.
It's not contagious, though.
No,
or maybe it is. I don't know.
For
it wouldn't be the worst thing.
For him, I hope it is. Beasley just caught balls.
There you go. How about the running backs? You got James Cook, Devin Singletary, Zach Moss, Duke Johnson. They did draft James Cook in the 2nd round. We love to see that one.
Yeah. Going back to Allen maybe not running as much. Drafting Cook, they gave the ball a lot to Singletary last season, and he kind of took over that RB1 kind of role, which we haven't been used to out of the Buffalo Bills. With them drafting, I would say it's got to be a little bit of a timeshare here, but I could see them using running backs a little bit more.
And, yeah, that's always been traditionally the problem of Josh Allen is that it takes away from the Buffalo running back situation, but perhaps he will run a little bit less. Yeah. Overall, the Bills running backs ranked 27th in targets and tied for 25th in carries inside the 5-yard line over the past 2 seasons.
Yeah.
Yuck for fantasy owners of Bills
Exactly.
running backs.
That's the huge problem with Bills running backs is they don't get the ball within the 5. If there is a little change on that, there's huge upside.
How about the upside for the tight ends here? Dawson Knox and O.J. Howard. Dawson Knox, TE9 in PPR points per game. Thanks in part to converting 9 of his 71 targets into touchdown, which is pretty crazy. But considering, Howard there now, do you see that as kind of a repeat performance or?
Like we talked about earlier, it's really hard to kind of repeat those type of touchdown numbers, especially on only 71 targets. So repeat tight end 9, I would say probably not. O.J. Howard.
He's not the Gronk, the exception to the rule.
Exactly. O.J. Howard is interesting. He's always been a guy that is like super athletic, but hasn't done anything.
Hasn't done much.
So I really can't trust him. I don't think he's going to take away much from Knox.
Yeah. Dawson Knox always seems super solid and very clutch. Comes up in clutch.
Yeah,
minutes.
and I know last offseason, he worked super hard, and he came in and had this great season. I have not seen anything about his offseason workouts this year. If he has kind of the same thing and he's just as locked in, who knows?
Well, let's take a look at the NFL futures odds because there were favorites all across the board here to win the Super Bowl plus 650, to win the conference plus 350, to win the division minus 180. That win total at 11.5. Are you taking any of these bets? I would take them to win the Super Bowl.
I would take pretty much every one of them.
Every one of them.
Yeah. To win the Super Bowl, I think they have to be the favorites.
Yeah.
With the step back that I would assume the Chiefs are taking.
Yeah.
Although
and then my fun pick, my long shot pick is the Chargers. I kind of think that's a fun pick for the Super Bowl.
I feel like you're trolling me with that one just because they left San Diego. No, I hate them.
Why do you hate them? You got to embrace them. Support them from afar. No? You're not
I am not.
You don't do long distance relationships.
I'm not backing
with your
the
teams?
Spanos family. I am not backing Los Angeles.
So are you backing the Bills to get over 11.5 wins?
11.5 is such a high number.
That it is. And looking at their strength of schedule, it's 12. They open the season at LA. Their bye week seems a little early to me at week 7, which not great.
Early.
At Kansas City, week 6, they host Green Bay week 8. Their last 3 at Chicago, at Cincinnati, and then hosting the Patriots. So strength of schedule is 12th.
11.5 is high. I think their division is a little bit better.
Their division is better.
Personally, I just wouldn't bet this.
You wouldn't?
I wouldn't touch it.
Yeah.
I think that line is right.
It's a little high. I kind of do see them getting it. I do. I would take the over here.
If I had to take one side, if I have to take one side, I'm taking.
They're on a revenge tour, man. That loss to the Chiefs did not sit well with Josh Allen, and he strikes me as a gamer and a competitor who's gonna just ball out this season.
I like that take. I like it. I very well could be true. Allen is great. Probably is the quarterback one again.
So we got the Bills locking this AFC East up, though, right? I mean,
oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the hoodie's not coming for you?
Hoodie's not coming.
Hoodie's not coming for it. All right.
Although, that's part of the reason why I struggle with that over number, though, because this division has got better.
Right.
1 through 4, every team is a little bit better than they were last year.
That's true. Fair point, Tyler.
So,
got to watch out for it. But I think the Bills are the team to beat. Vegas, everybody seems to agree.
Yep.
The Bills are coming. Bills Mafia,
Bills
baby.
Mafia.
Let's go.
I
we need to jump through the table?
I love the Bills Mafia. It's so
they
great.
Are a fun fan base.
It's the best.
All right. And just remember that you can sign up for 3 months free of LineStar if you, new players only, sign up for Underdog Sports using the link below. Use promo code LineStar, okay? Deposit at least $10. Underdog Sports will match your first deposit up to $100. So that's $100 of free bets right there. So click the link below and sign up. And then you can place all your fun prop bets in a way that's legal, especially for us in California who have to do all these fantasy apps. And Underdog Sports is a great app that allows you to kind of do that without having to travel to a different state.
I know. Make a little excursion to Vegas real quick to put in all our prop bets.
Futures bets. We'll have to do that before the season starts.
Yep.
And if you have any questions or comment below, who do you think is going to win the AFC East this year? Make sure to like and subscribe so you can keep up with all of the content we're coming out with. And if you want to see Tyler jump through a table, Bills Mafia style.
Bills Mafia. Let's
Gotta do it for the content.
Yeah.
If we get 1,000 comments, maybe he'll do it.
Oh, we're doing it.
All right, guys. Go. That's it. We'll keep coming out with these division previews to get you ready for the season. So keep it tuned to the YouTube channel of LineStar. We'll see you guys next time.
Have a good one. Bye.